Hello, everybody! Sorry about those technical difficulties. We had some trouble getting connected. So anyway, I am here with a special guest. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am one of Ace of Thorn's Patreon supporters, a gold Patreon supporter, Dragonborn of Nerevar. I'm here to debate Ace of Thorn.
So, the video, the opinion that we are debating today is one of the earliest videos that I ever did on this channel. The video about why Saadia is actually innocent. And for this debate, we agreed on the same rules that I had for my video from last March of you should side with the Stormcloaks and here's why. So those rules include things like the dialogue and environmental details being canon but game mechanics are not, and how only Bethesda included things are considered canon, so no mods and no fan theories. So those are going to be so if you haven't seen that video yet, move out from under your rock and go and see it. But basically, those are the rules that we have agreed to for this debate. So, basically, I've said my piece back in 2018 when I made the original video. So I suppose, Dragonborn of Nerevar, would you prefer to start things off by giving your first rebuttal arguments?
Okay, so my first rebuttal argument, one that I plan to do, is the fact that Saadia pulls her dagger on you as soon as you're alone with her, but Kematu doesn't do that. I honestly don't really... That honestly seems like a bit of a red flag to me right now. That's my point. You can provide a rebuttal now.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I have my notes here. I'm gonna address this. Like, before the stream, you had shown me two existing YouTube videos. The first one was this one I'm showing on screen right now, Camelworks' video, Who is Telling the Truth and Who is Lying. And the second one is this one from ESO, Why Saadia is Guilty. So I watched those in anticipation of what happened, in anticipation of this debate. So I was able to take some notes prior to this. Basically, let's not forget that what we know about Kematu isn't just limited to our direct interactions with him. Prior to us meeting him face to face, Kematu's followers, two of them were getting kicked out of Whiterun, and one of them was in Whiterun jail, and they all unanimously affirmed the reputation that Kematu is just ruthless and a cutthroat, and that the two who were getting kicked out of Whiterun, they refused to share any details regarding why they were pursuing Saadia. They just said, well, there's money in it for you. If that's not enough, we're not going to do business with you. Kematu,
yeah, that's a fair point.
Kematu, at first, yes, it is technically true that he is nice to you at first glance. I was actually expecting to reach this a little bit later in the debate, but here we are. I'd like to portray this. I'd like to play a couple of clips for you from the anime known as Dragon Ball. Now, you've admitted before this debate that you've never seen this show before, so I'm just going to play a couple of clips from you. And basically, I want you to understand that this is basically Kematu in a nutshell. Watch this.
You're going down.
So basically, that's what Goku has been doing for basically the past 2 to 3 episodes against what is known as the Red Ribbon Army. Now, I want you to see what happens when he fights his way into the command room, and he comes face-to-face with Commander Red's right-hand man, known as Lieutenant Black. Watch what happens there.
Thank goodness you're alive.
Yes, I am. Now let's finish this.
Listen, I'm sorry, but I don't want to fight you anymore. I'm a victim just like you.
If that's really true, why are you pointing a gun at me?
You scared me, that's all. Oh.
Why are you being so nice to me now?
I told the commander not to hurt you, so he decided to punish me as well.
You fought the commander to save me?
He knows I don't like to fight children, so he told me you were here to hurt him. When I learned you only wanted the Dragon Balls, he tried to kill me to cover up his lie.
Well, why is he on the floor? Is he asleep?
Yes, he said he was feeling ill, so he had to lay down with that headache.
If we're not fighting anymore, then do you mind if I take the Dragon Balls?
I'm afraid the commander would miss them when he wakes up. Say, why don't we join forces and collect them together?
But the dragon will only grant a wish to one of us.
I understand your concern, but you have nothing to worry about. The Red Ribbon Army has no interest in the wish. We have everything we could possibly want. The wish is yours. All we want to see is the 7 balls reunited. See, the commander, he has a soft spot for dragons.
So basically, Lieutenant Black realized he stood no chance against Goku. Goku would just cream him if he, oh shit. Well, it looks like the stream just it looks like the stream got content ID blocked just now.
Oh, dang.
Well, hang on, let me switch to something else. Let me switch to an incognito window and see if the video is still there.
Alright.
Yeah, the video is still... Yeah. Okay, so it seems that it's unblocked now. So I'm gonna go ahead and carry on. Anyway, basically my argument for why Kematu was so nice to you all of a sudden, despite his reputation up to that point, universally affirming that he was just nothing but a ruthless cutthroat, is basically he basically just understood that he had no chance against you. Just like Lieutenant Black in those Dragon Ball clips. He tried to parlay, but that's not what he normally does.
Can I provide a rebuttal?
Yeah, I would be happy to hear a rebuttal.
Well, I have two, actually. So first off, you can still say, fuck you, I'm not gonna help you, and still say, okay, fine, die then. And you can provoke him. I honestly don't, whereas in Dragon Ball, he was trying to just be nice to you no matter what, no matter how many times Goku refused him. And the second, the Thalmor are also ruthless. The only Thalmor who you can actually talk to without dying is on Thalmor. But every single Thalmor, they won't try to help you. They'll always try to kill you. So, those are my rebuttals.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that Odelamar is the only... I assume you're talking about the one in Barkarth who sends you to find the Amulet of Talos in the Bard's house.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah,
that guy.
Okay, yeah. So the fact that Kematu isn't doing that is a sign that he's not here's the thing. Yeah, you can refuse to believe him, but... at that point, yeah, he knows he probably doesn't have a chance against you, but he's not gonna just stand there and let you kill him. He's obviously gonna put up whatever little of a fight he can, even if he knows he has no chance. So Kematu would just attack. I mean, bear in mind, if you want to say that the fact that he's not doing that is evidence that he's not working with the Thalmor, the same could also be said about Saadia. Remember those rules we agreed on? Remember those rules we agreed on? Stormcloaks and Imperials need to be held to the same standards? Well, by that same token, Kematu and Saadia need to be held to the same standards.
That's a fair point, but, I mean, Saadia pulls her dagger out on you, threatening to kill you if you touch her, so, whereas Kematu's just like...
We have to also understand.
I don't know how to make that.
We also have to understand that Kematu and his warriors still have their weapons drawn, even if they aren't attacking you. And bear in mind that Saadia pulls the dagger, but unlike Kematu, she hasn't seen you cut through about 24 bandits all by yourself just yet. She hasn't seen that yet. See, the Alik'r warriors in Whiterun, the 3 of them that you interact with who tell you that Kematu is ruthless, they think they're just talking to Clark Kent, but then Kematu sees that he's actually dealing with Superman. See, that's the big difference there.
Point. Yeah, fair point.
So, I mean, the closest you've come to arguing for why Kematu isn't working with the Thalmor also applies to Saadia, and in fact, we have a good reason to think that the Thalmor aren't actually involved in this in any way, shape, or form, and yet, if we go with this theory, that means that Saadia is the only one who is in the right here, and I'll tell you why. When we ask Saadia, why are they after you? Her response is, I don't know. I spoke out publicly against the Aldmeri Dominion. I guess that's why they're after me. Bear in mind, she's only portraying that as an educated guess. She doesn't know for certain that that's why she's being pursued. Kematu seems 100% confident that he's acting to bring a Thalmor double agent to justice. That doesn't necessarily mean that Saadia is telling the truth, but it does mean that Kematu is either telling the truth or just straight up lying. There is no in between. With Saadia, there is an in between. She doesn't know for certain. For all we know, I mean, bear in mind. Keep in mind that, even as they pursue Saadia throughout all of Skogum, there's random encounters you can come across where they're harassing random Red Guard women. That's an important thing to keep in mind because it proves that even the Alik'r themselves don't know exactly who they're looking for. They only know her by the scar on her face, and I have a feeling I'm going to bring that up momentarily, and I have a rebuttal for that too. But for the time being, for all we know, for all Saadia knows, she spoke out against the Aldmeri Dominion on one day, and then the next day she suddenly had assassins on her ass. For all we know, that could have been anyone holding a grudge against her for anything. And the fact that it just happened to come right after her speaking out against the Dominion could have just been coincidence. And
I have a rebuttal to that too, if you don't mind.
Well, I'd like to finish this first.
Oh yeah, so let's finish first, of course.
And if you're concerned that if you need any indication of just how petty some people's homicidal grudges can go in Tamriel, consider this. In the Dark Brotherhood questline, in the contract quests, where you have about a dozen of them over the course of the quest line, and they culminate with you killing a pirate captain. Of all of those quests, what is the one that had so many people wanting his death that Astrid had to hold a lottery to determine the client? Yeah, and why did they want him dead? Because he was a bad singer. Yeah. Yeah. So that should give you an idea of just how petty some people can be in terms of wanting people dead. Now bear in mind that according to Cicero's journal, Hammerfell does not have an active Dark Brotherhood branch at all. So if they want someone dead and they would go to the Dark Brotherhood, they'd probably just go to some random band of mercenaries instead. So that adds up. That actually tracks with the existing lore that we know about. So Saadia is making a guess as to why they're after her, but they don't know but she doesn't know for certain. That doesn't mean she's lying. It could just be happenstance that her getting attacked by assassins just happens to be immediately after she speaks out against the Dominion. She doesn't know that for certain. But if Kematu seems entirely confident that he's working to bring a Thalmor double agent to justice. So he's either telling the truth or he's lying. There is no in between. So
Right.
So that's my reason as to why Saadia, I forget exactly what we were originally talking about, honestly.
I think Saadia pulling her dagger out on you.
No, there was something else. We had established that was basically we have to hold her and Kematu to the same standards, and then we moved on to something else.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I'll make sure to think of it.
We can watch the stream later, honestly. But you said you had a rebuttal to all of this?
Yes. The fact that if they truly were Thalmor assassins, why wouldn't they just... Well, first of all, why wouldn't the Thalmor just... If they knew she was hiding on Sky, why wouldn't... If it was in a rebel-controlled thing, because the Dominion did send out its own assassins to infiltrate Stormcloak-controlled cities to hunt both you and Malvor down. But if it wasn't but we honestly don't know where Whiterun lies on the war. They know it's neutral, but also friendly to Imperials. But if it was friendly to Imperials, they could have just gone up, petitioned Ulfric or petitioned Elisif, and asked, hey, there's this girl we're looking for. If we need to kill her, can we go kill her? And yeah, sure. And so she could give them leave. She could give them a free pass or something like that. Whereas if we were working for Hammerfell, and we know that there's strained relations between Hammerfell and the Empire as of the Second Treaty of Stroke Mackay, then why wouldn't then maybe Balgruuf turn into the Empire? So he doesn't really trust Hammerfell all that much because the Empire doesn't really trust Hammerfell all that much. So there's my rebuttal. Feel free to provide a rebuttal.
So your rebuttal is basically if the Thalmor, if I see that as a reason why Saadia is actually in the right here, because if the Thalmor were after Saadia, as you just said, they could just walk up to her and do it herself. And do it themselves. Why would they need Alik'r assassins? I mean, bear in mind, as we've already established, even the Alik'r don't seem to know exactly who they're looking for, so maybe the Thalmor might have just gotten them to gotten the Alik'r to try to find Saadia, since even in the real world, white-skinned people tend to have a bit of trouble telling black-skinned people apart. So maybe they needed to hire a black-skinned person to be able to tell them apart from each other.
That's a fair point, actually, yeah.
And of course, even the Alik'r, as we've established, don't know exactly who they're looking for. But even if it, I'm pretty sure that. Bear in mind that Balgruuf is, and let's be honest here, Balgruuf is canonically the Jarl at the time that Saadia is hiding out, because the quest actually begins right after you kill the first dragon, but before you become Thane. It begins at that exact ultra-specific narrow point. So, Balgruuf is, as I established in the Stormcloaks video, it is impossible during normal gameplay for Vignar to be the Jarl at this exact moment in time.
Right, yeah.
So, bear in mind that if Balgruuf, being the only neutral Jarl in the game, he's most likely not siding with Ulfric, but not willing to put up with Thalmor's bullshit either, and the best evidence for this is Heimskr. If the Thalmor were allowed in Whiterun in any capacity, you would expect Heimskr to be the top of their priorities.
Fair point.
So, obviously, even if they knew exactly who they were looking for and knew that she was in Whiterun and specifically in the Bannered Mare, they probably would still need Alik'r assassins to go and do the dirty deed for them.
That's a fair point. May I provide a rebuttal?
Yeah, you can provide a rebuttal, of course.
Thank you. Well, like, Saadia says that she needs you to kill them before they drag her back to Hammerfell. My question is, why not have her drag them back to the Somerset Isles of all places, or maybe Valen or elsewhere? The Somerset Isles. Why not just drag her back there? Why take her back to Hammerfell? But Thalmor has no influence in Hammerfell.
We have no reason to suspect that Kematu is taking her to Hammerfell.
Well, that's what Saadia says.
Drag her back to Hammer. That's it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that could have just been her speaking in a bit of a panic. I mean, she was panicking at the time. They just don't want her to she doesn't want to be dragged back to anywhere for an execution. Hammerfell specifically is pretty incidental there. And the Alik'r assassins, and bear in mind, we do see that her remains end up in the Whiterun Hall of the Dead, so it's not like she's dragged to really anywhere to be executed. She's killed in Whiterun Hold. So the best I can say is that she's just made a slight mistake in the heat of the moment. And bear in mind, we have affirmative evidence to believe that Kematu is straight up lying. And like I said, because of how confident he seems, he's either telling the truth or he's lying, no in between. And there's one line of dialogue that neither ESO nor Camelworks has made any effort to rebut or to reconcile. And that's when he says, the resistance against the Dominion is alive and well in Hammerfell. No,
right, because they're been kicked out. Right,
yeah,
they've been kicked out at the Secretary of Social time.
There's been
that's it.
There's been a treaty that's 21 years old, and even Camelworks concedes to that. There is no ongoing conflict in Hammerfell between the Dominion. There's no amount of, well, it could have been this isms that you can possibly introduce to reconcile that as anything other than a bald-faced lie.
The only thing that I can provide that's close is symbolic. That sounds stupid though, so I don't make with that what you will.
Yeah. So that alone is the reddest of red flags when it comes to discrediting Kematu.
Yeah, that's your point. Another point I would like to make is the fact that House Suda cannot be found anywhere on the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages or anywhere that I've looked where Tenet can be found. So, and she says she's from House Suda, and House Suda can't be found, and I can't find House Suda anywhere.
Just a minute here.
Alright.
I'm gonna pull up something.
Alright, cool.
Okay, here we go. This is a video of mine from 4 years ago, back in 2019, where I basically argue the canonicity of Oblivion's 4 minor mods. Not the Shivering Isles and not Knights of the Nine, but the other Oblivion's DLCs. And one of the reasons that I argued for why one of them wasn't canon is because it mentions a city in Skyrim on the northern coast, one that borders the Sea of Ghosts, that doesn't appear anywhere else in Elder Scrolls lore. And I got a lot of flack for that. At the time, I thought that was dispositive proof that DLC wasn't actually canon, but a lot of people have pointed out that there's been a lot of these one-off references to various things that aren't referenced anywhere else in the lore in the entire franchise, and yet their canonicity is otherwise not in dispute. So I can see that part of my of that old video of mine no longer holds up. It doesn't hold much water because it's common. I mean, bear in mind that there's only been 5 games in the main series, 6 if you count online, and there's just not been that much opportunity for the lore to be developed. So the fact that that she's referencing a house that doesn't exist seems kinda, that I just don't see that as all that persuasive anymore. Like, the fact, like, if she was gonna make up a house that she was a member of, why wouldn't she just make up a house that it's like 99% chance that the person she's talking to has heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh. So if you want to actually come up with a theory that reconciles that, I'm all ears. I don't see it though.
Yeah, I guess you were... I got nothing. That's a fair point.
Yeah, so do you have what's the next rebuttal on your list?
I think one of them that I was going to try to take later, but screw it, I'm going to go for it now, is several of Kematu's statements. It'll be good to finally be able to return home, he says in the cave. Oh, come now, you didn't expect to manipulate people forever, did you? Your luck had to run out sometime when you meet Saadia. And then don't allow yourself to be fooled by pretty faces better than that. I don't think people who manipulate people just say that. Plus another thing, like, if you just kill her right then there in front of Kematu, he'll be pissed. He'll be like, why'd you have to do that? Now we can't really do anything, so... Those are my rebuttal, so go for it.
As for his statements that he says to Saadia directly, bear in mind that he's not just saying them to Saadia, he's also saying them in front of you, which means that it's very plausible, even likely, that he is still just keeping up with the facade of niceness that I had already established as being the most likely explanation for his behavior. And as for him getting angry that you killed him, for all we know, that could just be because if he isn't the one to kill her directly, he doesn't get paid per the contract.
That's a fair point, because I can reconcile that with a statement that's pro Saadia for if you kill, once you kill a girl of the kind who's a really crappy person, the Dark Brother, you stole the Dark Brother's kill, you need to repay that. So the Dark Brother doesn't get paid, you get paid, and that kind of pisses off the Brother. So yeah, I don't know whether you can say that, but yeah.
The only way at this point that that wouldn't make sense. Bear in mind that the Dark Brotherhood obviously have magical means of knowing who actually struck the killing blow. So who's to say that whoever hired the Alik'r, whether it be the Thalmor or someone else, doesn't also have supernatural means, magical means of knowing that it was you and not Kematu who did it.
Yeah, or Kematu could just tell them. Or
yeah. So,
and here's another point.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another point. I actually did this in a previous playthrough. I don't know whether I did something else, and this hasn't happened to me since, but like, I did my time in need quest for Kematu, and I delivered Saadia. And then when I don't do this anymore, and then when I was doing the quest line for the Legion, I was attackkt by a Thalmor just this year, and I have had no contact with Thalmor whatsoever. So I didn't know what to make that. I just assumed that they got pissed that I helped take out their best buy. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, once again, we have to understand that that could have been caused by virtually anything. So I'm gonna pull up the USB, page here. Yeah, I don't know if you're watching on the stream, but you can hear the sound effects of when I'm trying to do a Control F search and there's no matches coming up. I'm searching for Thalmor, and I'm also searching for Justiciar, and I don't find it anywhere on this page, which basically says there's no reference here that anything in this quest is programmed to send Thalmor Justiciars on you. I would expect this is one of the most thorough online wikis I've ever seen about any subject, not just the Elder Scrolls. So if there was anything in the game's code telling the game that the Thalmor need to hate you if you betray Saadia, it would be here. But it's not here.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
So that's really the only... I can only say that that's one time that you had this happen to you, where the Thalmor started attacking you for no apparent reason after you betrayed Saadia. My best guess is that the Thalmor that must have just been a coincidence. But of course, if we want to assume that the Thalmor have literally any interest at all in protecting Saadia, bear in mind that Camel Works suggested that if the Alik'r are working for the Thalmor, why aren't they holed up in the Thalmor headquarters? But again, both parties need to be put on equal footing. If Saadia is a double agent for the Alik'r, if Saadia is a double agent for the Thalmor, why isn't she holed up in Thalmor headquarters? Why doesn't she hide out in Somerset Isles, where the Alik'r literally can't pursue her at all? Why is she resorted to be laying low and living the life of a peasant who's beneath her noble heritage?
Sure.
Yeah, so all the more reason to suspect that maybe the Thalmor aren't actually involved in this in any capacity. They're just everyone's general go-to boogeyman, the people who everyone likes to blame for everything these days. So, and Saadia, and like I said, there's a chance that Saadia just thinks that it's her speaking out against the Dominion when that was just coincidence. She isn't 100% certain as to why she's being pursued. You still there? Hey, bro. We seem to have lost connection with him. Oh, shoot. Well, damn. I'm gonna try and call him back.
Hello? Just kidding. This is my voicemail.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I can't establish contact with my debate opponent, then there is no debate. I am sorry. I guess this is an early end to the debate now. Well, son of a bitch. I was having fun just now. And there was a lot more of there was a lot more of Candleworks' and ESO's arguments that I was hoping to rebut. Unfortunately, doesn't look like there's gonna be... It doesn't look like we can continue the debate. I can't debate somebody if that person is lost contact with me. I'm sorry, guys. I guess that'll be it for today. Hope you enjoyed the debate while it lasted. Acer Thorn out. Peace. Wait a minute.
Call from
Orion Benson.
to accept. Press.
Hey! Bro, what just happened just now? I was literally a second away from ending the stream early.
Yeah. Sorry, I leave for a little.
Okay. Well, so are you, so I guess we'll have to finish this in 15 minutes then.
Well, good news for you, I got out all the points I need to get out, so.
Right. Well, in that case, I suppose that it's a good thing we ended the debate. It's a good thing we lost the connection when we did, right as we were about to end the debate anyway.
Plus, good news for you, you got me convinced. I'm gonna play for Saadia now.
Well, that's good to hear. So, any last words before we sign off?
Not really, other than, I'm now on Saadia's side, so.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on to the stream.
You're welcome.
And until next time, I'm Acer Thorn. This has been Dragonborn of Nerevar, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.